Well, obviously, a good morning for us to, still be here in Omaha and to wake up with a, great opportunity in front of us. And I know the guys are excited. Probably the number one question most asked is, who will start on Saturday. And I'm sorry to inform you, and Hunter's sitting here, so we're not sure who we'll go with. Obviously, little short rest. I don't think it's not manageable, but we weren't sure how we were going to use the pitchers. We're just trying to get through last night's game, and so to have this conference, a little premature, I think, on our standpoint, to make that decision. We'll try to, from your standpoint, from the media standpoint, try to release that as soon as we know something. But I don't think it's fair to Hunter or any of the other pitchers that we could possibly pitch tomorrow. But certainly Hunter's going to either pitch Saturday or Sunday. We just get to practice today, let him stretch, let him throw a little bit, and we certainly want to make sure that he's ready and capable. And what a normal rest, that's not going to be the case this weekend. So we need to know, when, is his best shot to give us, the best opportunity to win a baseball game. So we'll wait. So I don't know if that squelches some of the questions. Sorry about that. You may have to close the press conference after that, but that's all I got. Thank you.
Okay. Well, we'll wait for more from you. But let's start questions for athletes now. And start with Eric.
Yeah, this is for both players. Eric Olson with the Associated Press. A lot has been made of the fact that you guys were the last team picked as an at-large for the tournament. I guess now that you're kind of on the doorstep, could you kind of share your thoughts on just how you process that you were where you were back on Memorial Day, wondering if you were going to get in, and now here you are?
Justin, you start.
Yeah, I mean, we were 7-14 at one point, and I think it's a lot about belief. And I think all 40 guys we had on our team at the time, we never stopped believing. And we're here now. And the NCAA put us in, and now we're playing for a national championship.
Hunter.
Yeah, like you said, just a ton of belief in the guys, and we've always thought we were this good. I mean, I think at one point we were ranked number one or whatever. But like in baseball, sometimes you scuffle, and we were scuffling there for a while, but we just continued to believe and knew we were good enough, and we ended up here.
Okay.
Michael Katz, Daily Journal. This one's for you, Hunter. A year and a half ago, you're pitching in high school at Tupelo, and now you're here in the College World Series Championship Series. What has this ride been like, and have you taken a moment to kind of take it all in on what the last year's been like?
It's been a lot of fun. Had a lot of ups and downs. Like Coach B, our motto this year is enjoy the ride, enjoy the ups and the downs, and we've had those, and I've had those. I think everyone on the team has had those. But it's been a fun journey. Obviously, like everything in sports and in baseball, you just enjoy every minute of it. So it's been a lot of fun.
Okay, Howard.
Howard Borden, KOVM Omaha. Mike, congratulations to you, Justin, Hunter, and your team. I asked this to the Sooner student athletes. Besides playing the game, as a fan of college baseball, guys, what are your thoughts on Oklahoma and their style of play, your opponent for the next 3 days? Thank you, and best of luck.
Hunter.
Yeah, obviously they're a really good team if they're here. I mean, we haven't done a ton of scouting yet. I'm sure we'll do that later today and tomorrow morning, so we don't know a ton about their hitters or stuff like that yet. But, I mean, they're obviously really good. Their pitching staff's really good. We know that. Their hitters are really good, and all the respect in the world for them.
Yeah, similar to Hunter. You have to be a good team to make it, to the national championship. And, I know they have some good arms and some good hitters. And like you said, we're gonna go over that later today and early tomorrow, to learn more about it.
Okay, John.
John Sokolov with WCBI TV down in Columbus, Mississippi. This is for both you guys, but I guess, Justin, we'll start with you. You played in a ton of games for this program, but would you say this year's group, like y'all's confidence is at an all-time high kind of at this point?
Yeah, I mean, I honestly don't think we've ever lost confidence or belief, but right now, winning, I don't know how many, 8 of the last 9 games we played, it's just when we step on that field, we're going to have the belief and confidence, to get the job done.
Okay, we'll go to the Zoom now. Please give us your name and affiliation and ask your question.
Yeah, Mitch Davis of the MitchDavisShow.com. Guys, congratulations on the win. Talk about that moment watching DeLucia out there dealing, and talk about the locker room after, and talk about just the environment. You guys really seem to be believing in something bigger than yourself right now, and just talk about that term, because you guys were left for dead, and here you are in the National Championship Series.
Go ahead, Hunter.
Yeah. I kind of lost track of the question. But, yeah, it was awesome watching DeLucia out there, man. Honestly, from him, you expect stuff like that. He's a special guy, a special pitcher, our ace and our guy. So when you run him out there, even on short rest, even on times like that, you expect him to do big things, and that's what he did last night. And he really lifted this team, and we're excited for him and everybody. And just after the game on the bus in the locker room, just a ton of excitement, but like a feeling of we're not done. We came here to win a national championship, and that was our only goal.
Justin.
I think he covered it all.
Okay, back in here in the back.
Jared Redding, Inside the Rebels on 247sports.com. Hunter, what have you taken away the most from some of these, more older and experienced guys like Justin Bench and Tim Elko from a leadership standpoint?
Yeah, it's a long season. You got to keep going and just keep believing. Like I said, I don't think I've ever been in a season this long or this many games, and I don't think I've probably ever pitched this many innings, but it's just coming to the ballpark every day, looking to get better, looking to be the best teammate you can be, and those guys have done a great job of showing that.
Okay, right here.
Austin Elders with Rebel Walk. Justin, for you in particular, I think a similar question was asked to OU, but you were part of that 2020 team that was on a roll, and then the season got cut short. So how much more meaningful is it for you now to have made it to this point?
Yeah, I mean, that season was unfortunate. We were on a good run there, but a lot of players came back the next 2 years, and our job's not finished. We have 2 more games to win, and that's what we're here to do.
Okay, Jordan.
Evan Bland, Omaha World Herald for Justin. You've been on some teams that were close to Omaha in the past. I'm curious, what's maybe the single biggest thing about this team that's allowed you guys to get here and now to where you are?
I've said it before, our belief, I would say. Freshman year and junior year, we were that 1 game away. Just keep putting ourselves in that situation, to make it to Omaha every year. Coming down to that 1 game, and we got to do it this year, and it's a cool feeling.
Okay, right here.
Chase Parham, Rebels.com. Hunter, just what is, I guess, when do you throw? What is sort of the process for figuring out how you feel for either Saturday or Sunday? What's the kind of the goal there?
Yeah, I'll show up to practice today, stretch it out, throw a little bit, do some arm care, see how I'm recovering, see how I feel. Obviously I want the ball tomorrow or whatever day that I can get it. So we'll just have to see.
Okay, look over here.
Nick Suss with the Clarion Ledger. Justin, have you and Tim and Kevin and Chof kind of had any chance to reflect while you've been here about getting here as seniors, or have you kind of just been laser focused on task ahead?
We've just been focusing 1 game at a time, but you can't help but look around and see that you're playing for the World Series, and it's a speechless moment for all of us and this team and coach and everything.
Okay, more questions for the student athletes? If not, guys, thank you. Congratulations, and we'll see you tomorrow. If you have any other needs for student athletes, just check with Eric or with Mitch and Alex, and they'll take care of you. Okay, Parrish, you'll start. Questions for Mike.
It's Alfred Daily Journal, Tupelo. Mike, Butch Thompson was talking earlier this week about trying to come from the losers bracket, and he had reached out and talked to some coaches who had done that here. I'm wondering, do you reach out and talk to anyone about the championship round, and what experiences do you take from championship teams that you were a part of at LSU?
It just happened last night, and our path here obviously a little different than Oklahoma's. They sat on Wednesday or won, and have been sitting for a couple days. And a little sooner, one of the questions earlier, the guys haven't seen or heard anything about Oklahoma besides what they've watched on the College World Series. Let them enjoy last night. We'll practice today, and we'll start breaking down video and kind of get more into our normal 3-day routine as far as our prep for the game. As far as specific to your question, the only one I've spoken to is Coach Burtman, and spoke to him, I think it was Tuesday, and gave some advice. Don't want to be too specific with it, but talked about some of the things that I talked about earlier. I think, especially with the beat writers, about being conscious, of the time and the time off to make sure that that you keep them busy, that it's structured, that you know what you're doing, but also to give them time to enjoy it, to stay loose and to stay calm, and and I think it's kind of a juggle, with that, but not as much. I think, playing yesterday, it would have been a little more of a juggle with the 2 days off for us. But, now it becomes fast and furious. We get back to the hotel last night, eat dinner, and try and answer a lot of texts and emails, and as many as you can anyway. And then you wake up this morning, you have all of this. You get a couple hours of media and ESPN and photo shoots and those types of things. And then you got practice. We'll have a team dinner tonight with all the players and their families and whatnot. But yeah, the only one that I've spoken to is Coach.
What do you remember most about the 3 championships?
Hold on, Parrish. Let's go up here. One question at a time, please.
Mike, John Sokoloff, WCBI TV down in Columbus, Mississippi. You mentioned that advice that you gave those guys, and you shared that with us at Creighton a couple days ago. While it's a business trip, you also want them to enjoy it. But what about you? I mean, how much have you been enjoying this, and what have the last 12 hours kind of been like for you?
The last 12 hours, like I said, I went back home after the game. Ate a sandwich in the hotel, started to answer a lot of text messages and emails, a lot of ticket requests, and a lot of I'm sorry, I'm out of tickets. But it's been awesome, as you can imagine. And we've tried to do that. And my whole family's here. So that's a cool thing to have your entire family here. But they've been really generous, with me, where, when I go to my room, they let me go to my room and do what I need to do. But they've enjoyed it, and it's been cool to see them, after the games, and to get the hugs and the kisses and all that. So that it's been a neat part, and I think that's what this is. You're here for a long time. When you get to this point, you've been here for 10 plus days, and there's got to be some time where you decompress a little bit and sit back and enjoy it. And I think that's what Justin was saying. I mean, you want to stay locked in, and you realize it's one game at a time, one pitch at a time, and that's how we play everything. But because this is so long, there's got to be times that you step away, and for the kids to go eat a steak in Omaha with their family and enjoy this. This is what it's all about, right? I mean, you do it to have fun, and you're hoping that they're all going to find some enjoyment of this.
Jake Thompson, Ole Miss Spirit. My kind of question asked to Justin about that group from 2020, and everybody's seasons was cut short, and kind of the start y'all had, and kind of chat of Omaha. But what has it meant now to get those older guys to now take this journey with them and get them here, and what has it kind of meant, if y'all been able to kind of think of it that way?
Yeah, I guess I don't, the COVID shortened season, that seems forever ago. It really does. I think it would have, and not to criticize your question, that would have been a better question last year if we were to make it. You're right. That team was off to a great start, but as we've seen, just great starts don't do it. Right, you got to play the whole season, and there's a lot of guys that are in our dugout now that we're in that meeting room on whatever day it was, March 15th, where we had to tell them to go home, and a lot of tears, and very emotional day for us, and for the rest of the country and the world, right? I mean, we didn't really know what to tell them at that point, except for we were told that they have to leave and they have to go home, and we don't really know what this is all about, but the season's canceled, at least as far as we know, and so that was a tough day. I remember that. It'll always be cemented in my brain. But as far as the players and how it affects or relates to this point, I think I know this is not what your question was, but I think it's really cool, the story of the bench and Elko and Graham and others that had opportunities last year after that season, a great season, but ended up one game short of being here to come back for one more ride and one more chance at it. How cool is that, to be here and to still be here, with the two teams remaining.
Okay, Nick.
Nick Suss with the Clarion Ledger. Mike, Skip was talking a little bit about the recruiting trips that you and Dan would take when he was coaching at JUCO. What do you remember about those trips, and do you see any similarities between his teams now compared to the kids he was coaching all that time ago?
And again, back to the default, we haven't watched them. I've looked at, a lot of, stats last night and this morning, but I haven't started watching video. Just a really crazy good offense. I mean, when you look, you don't see those types of numbers, in our league especially. I think 145 stolen bases out of 188 attempts. We probably haven't had 188 attempts in 3 years of stolen bases. So not only do they steal at a high percentage. You have 3 guys that have over 20 stolen bases. And I think, somebody will pull this out, but I can't remember playing a team that had a guy that had over 20 stolen bases this year, except for Vanderbilt and Enrique Bradfield. I don't remember looking down at a stat sheet and seeing somebody that had over 20 stolen bases. They have 3 of them. And then they have 3 more that have double digits. And so, but they still hit the homer. They got 70-plus homers. They hit about 300 as a team. They score a lot of runs, and they do it in a lot of different ways. They bunt. They got almost 40 sacrifice bunts. So just a really good offense. I don't know Skip well. We're in 2 different leagues, and our paths, besides some recruiting, the early days with Dan McDonnell, trying to get as many players out of the Texas JUCO system as possible. But beyond that, to watch, we missed him when I think he got to Texas in 07, 08, somewhere in there. So he wasn't part, I don't believe, of the 05 staff when they came to Oxford for that super regional. But no, he did a great job, obviously at Texas, and then what he's done at Oklahoma, speaks for itself. So a lot of respect, and the people that I do know that know him always speak so highly of him. What a class act he is, and does it the right way, and that's he's done a terrific job.
Okay, right here.
Coach, Chris Miller of the Rebel Walk. Obviously, you're wearing the powder blue uniform today, and the question around town is, when are the Rebs going to wear the powder blue uniforms? So is this a lean that we're going to see the powder blue uniforms on Saturday?
Yeah, wow. Pressure. So let me explain it so we can really we let the starting pitcher decide. DeLucia usually wears red, and he's wore it the whole second half of the season. I can't believe we're doing this in the press conference. So when we got to the regional, and we had to play the opening game, we had to play Arizona, who's also red and navy. They were the home team, and they got to choose what uniform, so they chose red. And so DeLucia said, yeah, go wear navy. So he wore navy, pitched really well, and we won. Hunter's always worn navy. So we wear navy the next day. We actually wore red in Game 3 in Coral Gables, but then DeLucia, and it's kind of went that way. And really, even Gaddis's start, the NCAA asked us uniform choice before we chose pitcher. So we've been pretty good in the Navy. I guess we'll go Navy. So it's kind of been that. So it's probably been less superstition than people, have said. But I thought we made a rookie mistake when we came, for the first day when we came for the media, because I forgot we were going to do a lot of video. And we thought, gosh, we should have worn the powder blue, because that would have been a little more pop for the ESPN videos and whatnot. And so that was really the reason we're wearing it today, because we wanted to look good. And now you know the rest of the story.
Chase Barham, Rivals.com. Mike, how's TJ's thumb holding up? Just how's he handled that this week?
Good. I don't really think the thumb is as an issue. He's still, as you can see, it's heavily taped, and but I don't think it's necessarily an issue of does he play or not play, or what he can do, or I don't think it limits him.
Okay, Eric.
Yeah, Mike, Eric Olson with the Associated Press. Same question I asked the players. You guys are the last team in, and here you are. I guess, how do you kind of process that, the journey you've been on since Memorial Day?
Well, I've said it, before. I don't remember a time in my 22 years, but COVID, 21 years of tournament play or postseason, sitting there waiting for your name to be called on Memorial Day. Some years we knew because we were already a host. Some years maybe we weren't host, but we felt very comfortably in. And there's been years like this year where we didn't know, and sometimes it doesn't go the way you want. And three times out of the 21 years we didn't. And in those years we were 14 and 16 twice, and 13 and 17 once. So we were right in there, right on that bubble, and it didn't work. And so there was, I think, a very uncomfortable feeling on that day. And I don't remember ever hearing our name called on that day and seeing just joy and just the enthusiasm that I saw in the guys. They were certainly, you could use relieved, but I think maybe a better word would be excited. And since that moment, we weren't the 64th team. I try to say that. I mean, we're a good baseball team, and I think everybody would vouch for that. There's 31, automatic bids and 33 at-large bids. Now, were we the 33 at-large bid? Maybe, but one that we felt sitting in that room we deserved to get in. You just don't ever know, and we're really glad they let us in.
Okay, we have a question on Zoom right now. Please state your name and affiliation and the question.
Mitch Davis at MitchDavisShow.com. Coach, you and I talked about in the preseason on the podcast about what the program meant to you, and obviously meant a lot to you and your family. But I want to ask you about what this team in particular means to you. I mean, you've mentioned that you guys have overcome a lot. Now you're sitting here playing for a national championship. What does this team in particular mean to you?
They're all special, and I say that as a coach. Every team's different. Every year's different. The players, the personnel's different. The coaching staff's different, and the season is different. And this year's no different. But this is a really neat group of guys. Guys that are just not only terrific players and terrific teammates, but just genuine, I think, great representatives, of our university that do it the right way. They're just really good kids, and our story. We've haven't had the easiest road to get here, and I think it teaches us all. I think even as a coach that's been in it, 30 plus years. It teaches you these lessons that I'm surely will use down the road. When you hit some adversity, that hey, you think you have it tough now. Well, this team, did this. This is where they were, and this is where they ended up. And as Justin said several times, and Hunter, I think it came from belief in themselves. First, that they were good players, but then also belief in one another that we're a good team and we can do this, and especially if we stick together. So it's been really neat, as you can imagine. A lot of these questions are tough to answer, I think, right now in the moment. Sometimes it's a little easier to answer those questions. when you have a little more perspective after the year. But it's been as Hunter said, it's been a neat ride, and it's been a pleasure to be a part of.
Okay, back over here.
Trey Wallace, Outkick Fox. You've talked a lot about the whole season and leading up to the point of getting into the postseason, but how tough was the SEC for you guys this year, and how much did it prepare you guys for this run that you have been on through regional, super regionals, and now the College World Series?
The SEC, for those that aren't, it's just a gauntlet. It's just to navigate through. There's no off weekends. There's no bye weekends. It's every weekend you better be ready to go to war, and you play in the nicest stadiums in front of the largest crowds against the best players in the country. Week in and week out, and this is not a surprise, and I don't mean it for us, but a team that went 14-16 in our league, that came in 9th place, is sitting here. I think Vanderbilt, some of my beat writers out here might know better. When Vanderbilt in 14 won a national championship, I want to say they were like 15-15 in our league, something like that. But more to your question, I think going through that 10-week gauntlet, going from week to week, it does prepare you, I think, for postseason. It prepares you for big crowds. It prepares you for great competition. Prepares you for pressure-type games and being able to make pitches and make plays and get the big hits. Unfortunately, it will beat you up, and it's very unforgiving. There's such a thin line in our league from winning and losing, and not on the weekend, but every single game, you can be pretty good, but this playing in our league can make you not feel that way. And surely, there was probably times this year where, it was tough to feel like you had a great team, because of, that's what the SEC can do to you.
Okay, this will be our last question, Austin.
Hey, Coach, Austin Eldridge with Rebel Walk. I'm curious from a coaching perspective, because we hear this from the players a lot, but in particular yesterday there's a photo of you kind of tipping your cap to the fans after the game. From a coaching perspective, what does it mean to see that fan support in the stands in moments like this?
Yeah, it's unbelievable, but never a doubt. You knew, you saw it in 14 when we got here. I don't look up in the stands a lot, but I heard what a tremendous crowd we had, and what a neat atmosphere on a Thursday. I don't know how many people were here, but I would think one of the most attended midweek events here in the College World Series. Two great fan bases, but when you look up and see all that red and blue, and you can see how passionate they are, so excited, and I get a kick. Some of the pictures that I've seen, afterwards, the fans and just the emotions, and some of the videos, the short videos after a big pitch or a big play, man, they're invested, and it's really cool. And that helps. It's helped us at Swayze Field, and certainly, it's helped us here.
Mike, thank you.
Thank you.
See you tomorrow.
Brought to you by Horn, a professional services firm serving clients across the U.S.